What's going on, guys? Welcome in to the Fantasy Tap. Today, we are here with your boy Brooks and your boy John. You know, always here sometimes, always not. But today, what we're going to be doing for you is we're going to be reviewing some of the dynasty trades people have sent to us, either asking for our opinions or asking for some help. Some curious questions in there. And pretty much just going to break them down, see which side of the trade we would like. Something me and Mike do like to stress is and remind people is you do not win a trade. A trade either makes your team better or worse. It's not you're not trying to get more value than the other person. It's whoever's team is better after the trade you can consider a win. But based off, we'll take this in a vacuum. Let's see which side of the trades we would like. Brooks, how are you feeling for this episode? Are you excited?
I'm feeling pretty good, honestly. I'm feeling pretty good. This is something new and exciting. I always wanted to know what other people's mindsets are going into trades, and now we get to kind of dive into it and then share our own little mindset. So it should be fun.
All right. So let's set the stage for the first one. The sender is going to be sending away Juju Smith-Schuster, Cedric Wilson, and the 1.07 in this year's rookie draft to receive Jaylen Waddle and the 11th pick in the second round in this year's draft. So basically, going to be trading up for Jaylen Waddle over Cedric Wilson and giving away Juju. How are you feeling about it?
Man. Taking a look at this trade right now, it's very interesting because it seems to me that the sending side that we laid out with Juju and the 2022 first round pick, it would be the 1-7. I don't know, when you're including the seventh round pick in a draft in the first round, you have to know that holds some weight. You know, Jaylen Waddle is obviously a fantastic dynasty prospect and a fantastic dynasty receiver. It just shows me that the person who's sending out Juju might be just showing a little bit less value than most people are in terms of the Juju side of this trade. That's my first take on it. Cedric Wilson is also kind of he's probably going to be doing some decent numbers this year as well. It's kind of hard for me to pick a side right now. Do you know what side you want on this?
Yeah, so for me, it's kind of it's one of so again trades, especially in dynasty formats. It's roster based. It's how does your team look, and we'll decide which one actually benefits your team more. And I mean, if I'm on the side where I'm in a rebuild mode, and for some reason I just drafted Jaylen Waddle last year, I'm looking to get some more players that I can actually use. I actually like the guy sending away Juju and receiving Waddle because for me, Juju's going to be valuable. You know, you're possibly looking at a wide receiver too this year. But Jaylen Waddle is going to give you extreme long-term value in a high-end in an offense. Let's not call it high-end yet. Cedric Wilson's kind of a throwaway player, in my opinion, for fantasy. He might have some. I mean, I don't want to say throwaway because he definitely needs to be rostered. He's going to have some flex weeks, but he's not going to be consistent and someone you're going to be able to rely on, even if Tyreek Hill is to go down or Jaylen Waddle misses some few weeks. But you're giving away that 1.07. And at that point, you could possibly get someone like an Olave, Jamison Williams. One of those top 5 receivers are more than likely going to fall down to you. It's just going to be the 5th one. So you got to add that value in there. And I think I'd rather just take the home run hitter and a back end second. You can still get someone with some upside, might hit home again. And I'll take Jaylen Waddle over the other picks, actually. I changed my mind before I was on the other side before we talked about it. I thought about it some more.
Yeah, I kind of like the Jaylen Waddle side of this trade, to be honest, because I mean, the upside for Waddle is huge. Like, yes, we know that the Dolphins added Tyreek Hill. We know that they added a lot of weapons, but Jaylen Waddle is in that position where he's just going to be viewed and looked at as this long-term option and solution for a wide receiver over there. We know that Tyreek Hill is probably not going to, just like be like finishing out his career as a Dolphin. I mean, he might. I don't want to. Maybe I shouldn't have said that, but the point that I'm getting at is that the face of the franchise type of receiver is probably going to be Jaylen Waddle long term. He's going to be there for a lot longer than Hill will be there for. And I think the Dolphins want to keep that, and the talent is through the roof. So I would be more inclined to keep that instead of try to hit in the draft and then take these other pieces that honestly are just depth pieces, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
Now, I don't hate the guy that, like, I don't hate the other side of it because Juju's ceiling is, he could possibly be the number one receiver for Kansas City this year outside of Travis Kelce. Jaylen Waddle's numbers could fall with Tyreek Hill there, like you're saying, and receiving running backs. So it's more of an upside swing in my opinion, I think, but we'll have to see. But let's jump into the next one. And this situation is another half point PPR dynasty league 12-man. And sending away Miles Sanders, Michael Pittman, and Mac Jones to receive Jarvis Landry, Ezekiel Elliott, Lamar Jackson in the 110 in this year's draft. Now, is this a hard trade for you to take a side on, or?
No, it's not. I want the receiving end of this trade. You can give me the last pick in the first round. That's fine. I'm going to be taking on Lamar Jackson, who I love. I don't care what's going on in the offseason. He's betting on himself. I'm a betting man. Sometimes I bet on Lamar. I want Lamar on my dynasty team, like 100%. And I think Ezekiel Elliott, I mean, honestly, is an aging asset. But we've done a video about him where in some, I actually argued to trade him away. But in this specific trade scenario, you're still going to have a first round pick. You're going to obtain Lamar Jackson. And on top of that, you're going to get Ezekiel Elliott, which, in my opinion, has at least 1 or 2 more years of solid productive value. I mean, I don't think that's unreasonable, honestly. So you're getting these 3 pieces that can help you, these 2 pieces that can help you win now in Lamar and Zeke. You're getting a late round first, and you're also getting Jarvis Landry, who can provide you some wide receiver 3, possibly flex value. For your team. And I don't think Miles Sanders, Michael Pittman, and Mac Jones should be the side on this that is the favorite. Honestly, I mean, not for what is on the other end of this trade, in my opinion.
I'm gonna have to agree with you. So if you were to take pure value out of this, Miles Sanders and Ezekiel Elliott, both of them are kind of similar situations. I mean, Zeke's shown a little bit more wear and tear, but he's also more elite back than Sanders has proven to be. But both of them are getting towards the back end, and we've kind of seen both of them have options other than that back. Sanders has Kenneth Gainwell came in easily last year and took a bunch of snaps from him, let alone Jalen Hurts took away a lot of his touches. Elliott, Tony Pollard is arguably better, not than prime Zeke, but than where he is now. And so you could see Tony Pollard taking away from that share. So I think those two could easily wipe each other out. So now you're looking at Pittman and Mac Jones for Landry and Jackson in a first. Beautiful. Jackson alone is worth more than Pittman and Mac Jones, which means you just got icing on top of the cake with that first pick. You're grabbing yourself another receiver with huge upside, and you've got Jarvis Landry, who's definitely going to be a role player there for New Orleans. So I'm in love with that one. Whoever sent that one and received that little haul there did a great job. Let's jump into a question about a keeper league, actually. In a 2022 keeper league. And they want us to know that they do have the first overall pick, so they can take whoever they want. But as a keeper, they want to know if they should keep James Conner for a 12th round pick, CeeDee Lamb for a 5th, T. Higgins for an 8th, or Austin Eckler for a 2nd. So what's your first opinion?
Some options there. I mean, there's some options here. I don't know if I like. A lot of this is also going to be dependent on what kind of league this is. If it's a super flex league, obviously, some of these guys do fall back in their ADP because quarterbacks are moved up a little bit. So that's to be considered. But I'm looking at players like CeeDee Lamb for a 5th is very, interesting, but it's not really jumping out at me as much as James Conner for a 12th. I mean, just got a 3-year deal in Arizona, going to be the lead back there, was a monster touchdown performer last year. And he's going to be the lead back and, presuming he's healthy. I think the upside for James Conner for a 12th is honestly insane. I like T Higgins for an 8th too. But the one that's really standing out for me is Connor for a 12th. What do you think?
I believe I'm on the CeeDee Lamb side, actually. I think
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb
Okay.
has a shot to be wide receiver one in fantasy football this year. Just purely
That's
on
not that
upside,
spicy.
you know. And so for me to grab that in the 5th round would be like, imagine grabbing Cooper Kupp in the 5th, 6th round this year. A lot of people did. They probably won their
Yeah.
leagues. And
Mm-hmm.
so for me, I think that upside's great. My problem with taking Connor in the 12th, though, is you're probably not taking Connor until the 6th, 7th round, anyways. And so, and at that point in the draft, you're kind of already looking at a hodgepodge of mediocre running back twos that could do fine. And I'm not fully sold that he's going to be the answer for Arizona. So I don't even know if I would draft him at his ADP, let alone versus the guys that he's around. So I don't think I'm getting the value in the pick. But if you believe that he's going to be able to put up those touchdown numbers again, then he's definitely someone you should contemplate. But I do really think that CeeDee Lamb for me is the one, because just the 5th round, you're talking about Darnell Mooney maybe at the receiving caliber that you're going to be looking at. I'll take CeeDee Lamb over that every day, and I think you're doing fine because he could easily go in the 1st round, 2nd round.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like I said, depending on the draft that you're in, because I've seen some 1st rounds in certain like super flex leagues, for example, where like all of the 1st round picks besides like 4 of them are like quarterbacks. So like sometimes it can get crazy like that. That's the only reason why I say sometimes these ADPs that we're looking at for these draft picks might get bumped back a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like I said before, CeeDee Lamb was the first thing that jumped out at me just because of the upside with him is incredible. The only reason that I'm saying Connor is just if he can somehow put up even a top 10 running back performance, because last year he was like the 5th running back. If he can somehow put that up, then you have to think about what kind of value that is for for a 12th round pick to be able to pull that off. That's my only way that I'm leaning that way, and the running back talent can really dip sometimes. And but yeah, I do love CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb's incredible.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to pull up a mock draft that we did with one. Actually, he's actually a TikTok creator, and we'll shout him out here. But he is the host of. Let me make sure I get his name right before I shout him out. But I think it's Fantasy Shot at the Fantasy Shot Callers on TikTok. Does a mock draft. Invited us on it not too long ago. I wanted to see, it's with 12 other fantasy content creators. So I want to see where their brains were as far as where they're going currently. But we got CeeDee Lamb going in the 3rd round. And this is a super flex to just kind of match what you brought up. T. Higgins going in the 5th. I am having a hard time locating your boy there. Trying to be quick with it. Yeah, maybe he's going earlier than that. James Conner in the 4th, maybe. I mean, he's going around David Montgomery. Yeah, David Montgomery, Zeke Elliott, Cam Akers, Javonte Williams went late. Wow. We'll have to ask you guys in the comments. Let us know. This might affect someone's actual outcome here. And then we'll have to get Mike's take on it as well, because this is a question that's going to burn in my brain. But I still think that CeeDee Lamb is going to be the highest valued asset by the end of the year. So I would keep him personally. But let's move on.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all.
You can't. You honestly can't hate it, because I think that's a great situation. I have heard of someone that's in a keeper league, and they took Cam Akers, I think it was, in like the last pick of the draft, because he had already torn his Achilles or something, and there's no expectation of him to start, and so he's able to actually keep him this year.
Yeah, for a really late pick.
Yeah, the last pick of the draft. Yeah,
that could be a strategy in some keeper leagues, man, where you draft like a player who's out for the year that has strong upside for like
that is going to come back and be in a good position and everything. Yeah, that's not a terrible idea. I mean, it's risky, but it's a long-term play.
Give up like a 15th round pick. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All right. And let's finish this up with a little bit of advice to a Twitter follower. he is in a situation where he is looking to trade for Jonathan Taylor. And we will put his roster on the screen. And he asked us, what kind of value will I need to send to get Jonathan Taylor? This does look like it is a standard league. And he does really, it says that he does really like Sky Moore at 110. Okay. And he does want us to know that he doesn't have a lot of trades or value in picks in the future. But looking at his team for me, if you guys look at the team on the screen, he's got Stephon Diggs, AJ Brown at receiver. He's got Tyler Boyd, Christian Kirk, DJ Moore. I personally would attempt to move away on AJ Brown to be my main value, but you're also more than likely going to have to send away one of your running backs that you have starting, either Dalvin Cook or Joe Mixon, to sweeten the deal. If you throw Dalvin Cook in, though, I would possibly look for maybe just a little change in return, not a lot, but just something to make the sweet deal a little sweeter on your end. It's going to cost you. This is a terrible time to trade for Jonathan Taylor, to be honest, just because of how much you're going to spend, but the asset will be worth it. And your team does seem kind of deep as far as depth, so I'm not worried about you not having assets to replace the ones that you're going to be getting rid of. Where are you at?
Yeah,
Brooks?
You kind of nailed it right on the head, because I mean, I'll kind of be looking in the same direction. I mean, we've said on the show we're not the biggest fans of. I mean, AJ Brown's an exceptional receiver. You know, we're not gonna, we're never gonna say that. But like, we're not the highest on AJ Brown like everyone else is this year. And Jonathan Taylor being the prestigious fantasy asset that he is, you're going to have to pay a pretty penny. So for me, my best advice would just be mirroring what John already said. But I mean, looking at your team right now, you really don't want to. You especially don't want to get rid of Javonte Williams. You especially maybe Stephon Diggs, only because of his age. Maybe to try to sweet it that in there, that might be a little bit more enticing just because of who it is and who he plays for. But that would be a little bit more on the risky side, because Stephon Diggs is incredible, but that's about all I could say, really.
Yeah, you're really heavy at receiver, so I would definitely get rid of some of that depth to make it. I go for it, man. Your team would. It must be a 10-man league. There's no way you have that team in a 12-man league. Let me think about this. He's got Treylon Burks out of his rookie draft too. Good for him.
Yeah, I will say this team's incredible. Like, first off, congratulations, because this team's incredible. If you can add Jonathan Taylor to this roster without giving away too much, then I wouldn't want to play against you. Not with this team that I'm staring at here.
And just to point out to anyone that's watching, the shallower the league, the less players in the league, the more expensive the top end players are going to be, and the less valuable the low end players are. So keep that in mind, because if you're in a 6-man league, which sometimes some people do for fun or just as a buddy thing, Jonathan Taylor is probably going to cost your best player plus more. That's generally where his value is sitting, especially in dynasty formats. It's going to be your best player and a little bit extra. But all right, guys. So that is going to be it. If you guys have any dynasty trades that either you've sent and want to have a take on, let us know which side we prefer. Or if you guys have any questions about some trades you are thinking of making, or are in keeper leagues or anything like that, dynasty related and roster management wise, let us know. Hit us up on Twitter at the Fantasy Tap. Ask us, DM us on TikTok, Instagram, also there on the YouTube. Obviously, hopefully you're watching us there now. But make sure you guys tune in for all our episodes. Make sure to follow us on all of our social media. Brooks does a great job of keeping up on that Twitter and keeping you guys engaged with some active news. Answer our polls. Keep you invited. Brooks, thank you so much for joining me.
And thank you for being here with me as well, John. And thank you to anybody who's still here at the end of this video. We really do appreciate it. And just keep engaged, and we'll keep on pushing out the content. We just want to give the best knowledge and advice to you to help you win those leagues and maybe take home a little bit of coin. So we appreciate you guys.
Absolutely. Like, subscribe, follow, and we'll see you guys next time.